Welcome to the Lindsay and Tony podcast, where we talk about spirituality, business, and life experiences.
In this podcast, we're bringing our private conversations to you.
We believe that it's through discussion, action, and reflection that true change occurs.
Hi everybody, welcome to episode 12, and in this episode we talked about manifestation and the processes to actually manifest and different action steps that you can take to manifest anything that you want in life. We hope you enjoy the show.
Welcome back, guys. We are so excited that you're here. Today is all about manifesting. We can't wait to talk about it with you.
Very excited to talk about this topic because this is a topic I think everybody's interested in. They want to manifest their husband or wife or $1 billion or whatever it is they want to manifest.
Yeah. And it's funny because before we did this episode, Tony said, we should do an episode of the law of attraction. And I'm like, oh, I don't feel like talk. I love the law of attraction, but I don't know if I'm in the mood to talk about it right now because I feel like it's so over talked about. And then I was getting ready for something. I'm like, we should do one on manifesting, which is pretty much the same thing, but we might have a different spin on it than maybe you haven't heard before.
Exactly. And I think the law of attraction is going to be woven in through all of these episodes because it's just energy you attract into your life, what you're energetically emitting. Mm-hmm. So that kind of goes with everything we're talking about. But we'll keep it with manifestation, right? Because Lindsay's sick of talking about the law of attraction.
Which is the same exact thing.
It's the same thing.
It's just a different term.
It's just the words. And that's what we want you to understand on each of these episodes too. Don't be attached to names.
Yeah.
Like the law of attraction or manifesting or desires or God or universe. I mean, it's so many names to talk about something that is so deep. So I think I look at these names as just like labels so we could start to uncover what we actually already know within.
Yeah.
So manifestation.
I feel like manifesting, it's interesting because I was thinking about it before we started this episode. I think manifesting is happening all of the time. All of the time it's happening. It's just, are we aware that it's happening? So we're always going to have different things come up in our life, I believe. It might take us a little bit longer, almost like a GPS, where you put, an address in the GPS and all of a sudden you see a detour. You still get to the same destination. It might take you a different route. It might take a little bit longer, but you still get there. So I believe that when we manifest things into our life, I believe that they're always going to be there. We just might see it in a different way. That's my belief on it.
It's so true. And I'll kind of go with what you were just saying, that everything is already manifesting every single second. Like, you watching the show, you're an expert manifester. Look at your life. You manifested everything in it. Naturally, we're born with that gift to just come in here and with our energy, we create without even trying to create. So we're already manifesting, right? Where everybody's already manifesting, whether you learn about it, read about it, or even know that you're manifesting, you're manifesting. The proof is that you're here. I think with this episode, what we're trying to talk with people about is how to tune our energy, how to tune our lives to where we manifest more of what we want and less of what we don't want. And I think that's one of the biggest keys.
Yes, it is. So when I think of that, I'm thinking of something that happened to me, and I know I've told you about it, but do you remember how I told you I had a dream? It was more of like a visitation with Nick, and we were into the law of attraction. Before you and I met, all of us were into the law of attraction, and I wanted to know if it was really real because Nick and I were promoting the law of attraction and talking about it so much, trying to get all of our family members on board and friends, kind of like what you were doing,
Been
Tony.
there, yes.
And so after he passed, I wanted to know the answer. Does the law of attraction really exist? Are we really attracting what we're thinking? And I had an image of myself. I was shown really, really quick, rapid things were flying at me and through me and around me. And it was so quick that if you can imagine traffic, those photos of traffic where you just see the energy, the lights, that's how it was in this experience, in this place when I was sleeping, or my soul was going to this other space. And I saw that we do attract what we think about. And it's almost like when we have a dream and we're in the middle of flying and we're so excited. Have you ever had one of those flying dreams and you feel so free?
I build my momentum by going,
Yeah, I've done that
that's
too.
weird.
I've done that too. But then the moment that you think, oh my gosh, is this a dream? This isn't real. That moment, you come out of that flying moment. Has that ever happened to you too?
I don't recall.
Okay.
It probably has, but
For me, it's almost like, oh, I wish I didn't know this was a dream because it ends. Like the flying ends at that point. Or you wake up. Just as fast as you can think of that, how it comes in like that, I believe our thoughts can create energy around us. We just might not see it's happening around us right away.
yes, definitely. It is. And once again, I mean, if everybody looks at their life, you'll see the evidence of your thoughts manifesting. And some people might look at it and say, well, that's not true because I don't have any money in my bank account and I always think about having a lot of money. And that's when it gets very deep. And that's when you got to really dig into to learn how, like, what is actually causing you to manifest? Like, what are you actually praying for? What are you intending? And I did say pray because a lot of people look at praying like, oh, I'm going to, I'm sitting here and I'm praying. This is when I pray. I go, but praying is, I look at it, you're praying every second of the day. Your energy is your prayer. And I think that's the gift that we were given at birth is our ability to direct our thoughts and to direct our energy. And that's our prayer because that's how we communicate with God or the universe is through our energy. So we are already manifesting every single second. And right when we start to have a prolonged thought or have something that we focus on continuously, that's right in that moment we start to manifest in that moment.
Yes.
Because it manifests in the what do you call it, in the invisible realm first, the energetic realm. It manifests instantly, and then the universe, the physical realm, kind of takes longer for it to process, for it to show up. And where most people go wrong with the financial thing or with anything in their life is they don't have the infinite patience. And they look at their life and they look at the results like, oh, see, it doesn't work, and da da da. And then those thoughts start to create more of that. So it's like a never ending cycle of them believing that they can't create what they want to create because they're actually creating, they don't realize it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of going in circles there.
That's so true. And it reminds me of people, when I'm giving psychic readings to people, I could actually see the steps that they're making in between the actual result that they want. It's about to happen. But, when you have that moment of freaking out, like, is it really going to happen? It's usually right on the edge there. It kind of reminds me of when I call you on the phone, Tony, and you're like, if you were just a little bit more patient, I'm right around the corner. I'm riding my bike. And it's like I can feel something coming to me, but I'm not trusting that feeling. So usually when Tony goes for a bike ride, he'll go for, it could be 2 hours, or if he plays a basketball too. And I'll just have this feeling like, just to check on him, like, okay, is he almost here yet? Are we going to eat soon? And usually it's around food. And I'll call him and he's like, you're tapping into what's happening. Like, I'm right around the corner. If you
every
waited
single time
2 more minutes, then I would be there. It's sort of like that when it comes to manifesting. So you think you're not getting anywhere. You think that you're not manifesting it, but it's right there. You just can't see the little energy droplets that have, led to this point. What I would suggest is to really, you can't sit on your butt on the couch and think you want to manifest a trip to Italy. That's not happening. But you could go to the library and start doing some research on Italy, or you can go to Barnes & Noble and pick out a book on Italy. You can get really, really excited, and I believe that manifesting has to do with emotion. So when you get really, really excited about Italy, you start thinking about, when is the best time to go for me to Italy? Let me go and get some stuff at the grocery store and cook an Italian dish, or let me do this, or let me take photos that remind me of Italy. These are all steps that you can take to get closer to Italy.
Absolutely. And the whole time you're taking those steps to have that excitement like you're already in Italy.
Yeah.
And that's easy for us to say, and it's harder to do. It's not really hard to do, but it's a process. And that's the whole key here. Because like you said, emotions, we are manifesting with our emotions. Yeah. So if you watch The Secret, The Law of Attraction, and you just watched on the surface level, you would walk away with it thinking, oh, I could just sit on my couch and think and I'm going to manifest everything. Well, yeah, you could sit on your couch and you could focus and you could draw the energy, but eventually you're going to have to get up. Like, you have to take steps, but you don't got to go out there like everybody else. This whole hustle thing that's going on online, which
Yeah.
it's cool. Like, you want to grind and hustle, but a lot of people are making it like it's a cool thing to hustle. Like, I'm up on Friday night and I'm grinding, I'm
Yeah,
hustling.
that's not fun.
And it's like, well, it might be for them, but we're getting the sense that a lot of people are just doing it for the idea of hustling. So I don't know where I was going with that, but the emotions, how the
Yeah.
emotions create your reality. So going back to it, that's exactly what it is. And our thoughts are actually emotions as well. And how do we know how strong a thought is? Well, when you think of it, how much emotion does it provoke? How much emotion does it create within your body? And I would say, so think about if you're on a plane and you fly and you're flying to a place that you really wanted to go to and you land. And then the whole time you have that excitement and you walk off and you're very excited about this, going to this place, whether it's the Bahamas, Hawaii, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is for you. And then you get off and you walk off the plane and the whole time you got this excitement. Well, we could learn how to do that before it actually even happens. And it is a skill that we must develop like any other skill.
Well, and okay, that reminded me, that's a really good point. Some people listening might think, well, what if I've never been to Hawaii? Or what if I've never manifested, or Bahamas? What if I've never done this before? It doesn't feel easy. I would say to start surrounding yourself with even sense. I believe that sensory stuff is important, so emotions and sensory things. So if you want to connect in with Hawaii and you wanted to go on a trip to Hawaii, you can get the Hawaiian suntan lotion and start using that while you're here.
Or the Hawaiian shampoo like we have upstairs.
Yeah, we actually have the Hawaiian shampoo. But when I say manifesting, like when we're talking about manifesting, I know some people are thinking, well, you're going to manifest a free TV or you're going to manifest winning the lottery. It doesn't have to be like that. You can actually bring stuff into your life and still pay for it, but have a wonderful experience and it come and seem like it's coming faster, I believe.
Faster.
Like the right people are coming around you, the right environment, the right timing of you seeing it through your lens and the perception of it, it's right there. Like, because I think that's the biggest thing is sometimes we think that everything's so far away.
Yeah, we have to bring it closer.
Manifesting is bringing it closer, seeing it in the lens, seeing it through our eyes and our lens, that everything is actually literally at our fingertips. It's just how bad do you want it and what are you willing to become aware of that's around you?
Absolutely, I love that. And going back before I even had the faith in all of this, in this idea, I would look at things, some things I'd look at and be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that. Like I always knew I was going to be successful. I always knew that, but I didn't know what that meant. But with certain things like in high school, like traveling on a vacation seems so far away from me. And if I don't remember exactly what I would say when the topic will come up, but I know that when that idea would come up, I would like block it because I didn't believe that it was possible for me in the moment. So I wouldn't play with it in my imagination to where now I learned to play with everything in my imagination in this moment. And I learned to feel the appreciation of actually that happening in this moment. How did I learn to do that? Well, it took practice and it took developing my imagination, which is one of the most valuable gifts that you were born with, is your imagination. That's how you see your thoughts, is in pictures. It's in your imagination. So we could develop anything we want there. And then what that does is our brain does not know whether things are happening in reality or if you're just imagining it. So to your brain, it's actually already happening. To the universe, it's actually already happening. So we have to know all this and become aware of it. And then when that trip pops up in our mind today after you watch this episode, be excited about it. Yeah. Know that you're going to manifest it. Why? Because you are so valuable. Once again, we can't describe who you are. You are a creator. You are manifesting. You are a professional manifester. Like, look at your life. So know that as you're doing this process.
That just reminded me of what you just shared about manifesting, because we are co-creating our life right now as we speak, just bringing it in and knowing that you're worthy of it right now, it reminded me of the basketball players. They did a study with one basketball player trying to take a bunch of shots with an actual basketball and practicing, and then the other basketball player where he would actually visualize getting shots in the hoop. Do you remember that one?
And then they had one group that actually didn't practice at all.
And then they noticed that the person that was actually visualizing had, wasn't it like around the same amount of shots?
It was like the exact same amount. They progressed the exact same.
So that's a perfect example of what Tony was talking about with imagination. So if we can actually visualize and go through the steps, the action steps. It's funny because one time I hate doing sit-ups, and I was imagining, I was in bed, I'm like, I didn't work out today. Let me just do the sit-ups in my mind. And I actually pretended to do that. I probably didn't tell you that yet. But it's kind of funny. I don't know if that works. Maybe.
Anything
probably.
works. Look, everything's possible.
If the basketball thing works, then I think
everything's possible. And look, we talk about on this show is just what we kind of know about right now. There's so much we don't know about. So I believe you can just sit down on your couch, visualizing yourself working out, and it will do something to your body. I think it will. Yeah, because it triggers the same muscles. I think it will. Like I do that with basketball. You talk about basketball. I do that to where, if I don't practice, I'll still like before I go to sleep at night, I'll see myself kind of playing, and I could feel the rhythm that I get when I'm on the court. And I think that's what it's about too. Is when you're imagining something, feel the rhythm of it. Use all your senses, like you said earlier, and that helps to actually create the picture to where it's real.
Yeah. Because I consider it magic. I was going to say it's not magic, but it is magic, manifesting. But manifesting is pretty much doing what you're doing right now, but becoming intentional about it. Mm-hmm. So intentional action, intentional focus on what you want, and intentional little action steps that lead you to what you want. I think the big thing is to be aware of you can get whatever you want. You can be in whatever position you want. Wherever you're living right now, you are not stuck. You're not in a jail.
I don't care how many kids you have.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. Right? Sorry, I had to add that in because a lot of people use the excuses. Well,
I know.
I was going to do this, but I have 2 kids now. It's like, you should really want to do it now that you have 2 kids because they're watching you. So now if you stop your dreams, you're unconsciously telling your kids not to do their dreams when they're older. And yes, that's what's happening. So it looks like you're doing something bad for your family if you're not with your kids for a week or something. It looks like, oh, I'm not a good dad or a good mom or a good... No, like if it requires you to be away for a week and it's something that's really on your heart, it's worth it because... Yeah. You're teaching your kids, and that's what we all want, right? We all want that for...
We're also going to have people listening to this and think, well, you don't have kids, so you have no
nephews,
right to speak.
nieces.
But it's
the same thing. Oh, I see what you're saying with we don't have kids, so we don't know what the struggle is. What I do know with 110% when I do have kids, I'm going to pursue my goals at an even higher degree.
Yeah.
I'm going to pursue like expressing myself fully at an even higher degree. Why do I know this already? Because I know that I want my kid to come into this world and know that he or she could do whatever they want to do. And I know that if I want to engrave that belief in them, it's not for me drilling that into them and teaching them. It's actually me showing them. So kids do what we do. They don't do what we tell them to do or say what sounds good. They do what we actually do.
Yeah, that's true.
So
we know that as teachers too.
That's what I do know is that. So I know it is easy for people to say, oh, they don't have kids or they don't have this happen in their life. They don't have health. They don't have... Well, we're here to tell you that literally, no matter what situation you're in, you can literally create anything you want to create.
Yeah.
Good. I'm not talking about anybody who's trying to create anything bad here. I'm talking about good. Let's create a great world to live in. It's something that's fun and enjoyable.
And I think part of manifesting, and you've probably heard it before, but gratitude. And gratitude is just becoming aware of the things that you want more of. So it's just saying, oh, thank you for that. And I know, Tony, when you were younger, a lot of the times that we've talked about the vacations with your friend Trevor, used to go on, and you went to Florida and different places, and your friends would take you out to eat and
Yeah, like
kind
for
of-
some reason I always attracted either rich friends or people in my life that had resources that wanted to bring me on vacation. Even though like at the time my family like we didn't go on vacation. We did like but we would go. I lived in St. Louis. We'd go like on float trips, which I loved. But I'm talking like getting on a plane, going somewhere. We didn't do that kind of thing, and I drew that into my experience. Once again, it's because we're born professional manifestors. And I think what happens over time is we stop thinking about things that we're grateful for, like what you were just talking about. And then we start to focus on the opposite. And then that's like a downward spiral. And then we start to create more of what we don't want. So with all this being said, let's talk about a few things that they can do.
Okay.
Like,
I
what
have
should
a
they
first
focus
one.
on to manifest? If they want to manifest the career they want or the relationship, do they go run around and go try to date everybody? Do they go,
I would
how
say-
do we focus the most efficient way possible?
There's a couple things, and this is the first thing I would do.
She hates the word efficient. No, just kidding. Keep going.
No, when you use it in certain sentences, yes, I don't like it. It annoys me because you're like, let's be efficient. I'm like, I am being efficient.
So, efficient manifestation. How do we do that?
I would say the first thing is to be what you want to manifest. So if you want to manifest a certain type of relationship in your life and you want someone that's independent and that's not needy, then you should be someone that's independent so that you could attract that to you. But I also feel something else too. And I hope I don't lose this idea because it was really good. If you think of one, you can go. So I can think of
Okay,
this 'cause I just lost it.
so you'll see a common theme throughout a lot of these episodes when I give advice. It's always working on you. Like literally, that's the number one thing is to work on you. Why do I say that? Because if you don't work on you, you're gonna be like a lot of people to where society kind of molded you and you think that you want to be a doctor right now, or you think that you want to be this certain career, you think you want to be at this certain type of girl or guy, and that might not actually be who you are. So you might not even know exactly who you are, and you're trying to manifest things that aren't who you are. And when they manifest, it causes more frustration because you manifest and you're like, why am I not fulfilled? Well, you're not fulfilled because it's not who you truly are. So work on you. And the way you work on you is through taking care of your body, taking care of your thoughts, and surrounding yourself in environments that bring the best out of you. And if you continually do that, you'll start to get more centered, more clear on who you really are, and then manifestation starts to happen faster because it's authentic with who you are. When people see somebody living an authentic life, they want to buy their products. They want to be a part of it because
Yeah.
it's so rare in this world that when someone sees it, it shines like a star.
Yes. And it just reminded me of what you just said, reminded me of my thought that I lost a couple seconds ago. And that was when you see someone living how you want to live, or when you see someone doing what you want to do, or you see someone with a good relationship that you want, be genuinely happy and excited because you are on the frequency. If you're seeing it, you are on the frequency to receive it. So you're seeing it because it's reminding you, I am worthy. So it's very easy to be that person that thinks, well, that was too easy for them. How can they get it and I can't? Actually, that was a sign for you, and you're going to miss it if you are putting out kind of negative vibes to the person that's actually doing well. Mm-hmm. So I would say the big action step would to be very, very excited if you see someone else exactly where you want to be, because it's a reminder that you're on the frequency, you're at that point of receiving.
That's exactly right. It's the universe just showing you. It's like a catalog. I look at your thoughts and then what's happening in front of you and around you. It's like a catalog from the universe or God saying, hey, this is part of what you can have. Do you want it? And when you look at a healthy relationship and you're like, you get resentment and that hate energy inside of you and you start to put that towards the people, you're telling the universe, ugh, I don't want that. So guess what? You're not even creating the space to allow that into your life. And that's number one. And number two, you're wasting a moment in your life to feel bad when you could feel good. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes when you look at certain things, it might strike resentment initially, but now you're aware that when it does that, don't run with it. That's not you. That's just like the egotistic, it's a lower nature of like, just, I don't know why it's here, it is. But when it sparks, be like, oh, that's what that is. It's resentment. So allow that to go through. Don't feel bad about it. It's just a thought and energy.
It happened to me.
And then turn it towards the opposite and be like, no, I'm happy for these people. And eventually that'll be your new paradigm, is that resentment will slowly go away because you're teaching your brain and yourself that, no, that's a happy thing. That's a happy thing. Mm-hmm. So right now, relationships for you might be a unhappy thing when you see them. But as you keep doing this process, it'll turn into a happy thing. And then that's when you start to create the space to draw it into you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that actually happened to me when Nick passed away. It was almost like a reminder to see couples smiling, which sounds like such a horrible thing that I wouldn't be excited for people. But in that mode, I was so depressed that I was just like, I don't want to see this. This is a reminder. And then I started to really live for me and started to get excited about life and excited about things. And it shifted everything for me. And I think that was a huge awakening. I didn't realize that I was in that until after I was out of it. So maybe us just talking about it, if you're in that mode right now where you're not excited for certain people, this will make you aware that this is actually a good thing for you to see, to know that this is possible for you.
That's such an excellent point, because a lot of people, they don't, like we didn't, you don't know what you don't know. And we were at points where we didn't know. And there's certain things in our life right now that we might not know about, that we'll talk about on maybe episode 103, and we'll tell you. But it's because it's like you're in a trance and you're seeing through the lens of your energy. Yeah. And when you do that, like when you were feeling low, you're not seeing clearly and you're seeing things. And it goes back to what Dr. Wayne Dyer would always talk about. He says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Mm-hmm. And it's so true.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect note to end on, don't you?
It is.
So if there's something that you've received during this episode that you want to share with us, or anything that you've manifested since listening to this episode, then share it with us. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. If you liked it, leave a 5-star review on iTunes, and remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel too.
If you can think of anyone else that would love this episode, share it with them right now on social media or email. And remember, getting results is a process of learning, applying, and reflecting. Stay consistent and continue to grow every day.